In today's world, women spend about 90% more from clothing items all the way up to feminine products more than men. So you can see behind me, a box of tampons, a 40 count for women costs roughly $27. As a luxury item of Trojan condoms, for a box of 40 costs between $16 to $18. That's a luxury, isn't it? For shaving cream, men's Gillette, a common brand, costs roughly $3 for a 7-ounce bottle. For women, an EOS bottle, 7 ounces as well, costs roughly $5. That's another luxury, isn't it? Two NPR reporters by the name of Karen Duffin and Stacey Vanek Smith went on an experiment in New York City. There they went to Walgreens in Times Square. They looked at different products, the feminine products versus the men's, and realized that a 10-pack of the Gillette Sensor, a common brand as well, costs 59.9 cents per unit. That's crazy, isn't it? Whenever you look at the Daisy brand, still a 10-pack, it is $1.25 per unit. That's almost double the price. That's insane. This is where the 13% comes in. This is called pink tax, the tax that is put on the luxury items that girls see everywhere. This comes when there's about $30 that women spend in taxes per year. This is ridiculous. There are 9 states that have exempted menstrual products from taxes. This excludes the pink tax. These states are Minnesota, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Illinois, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, and Florida. There are only 5 more states that are pending legislation to exempt. This includes Wisconsin, Nebraska, Nevada, Arizona, and Ohio. So these other 32 states, what are they doing? They're doing nothing. They're not trying to pen this. Whenever people walk into a public bathroom, it is so hard for women to try and find free tampons, pads, panty liners that they need. These are necessities that they need for their menstrual cycle. This is something that happens automatically. It is something women cannot control. Whenever they walk into a bathroom and need these products that they don't have on hand, it costs anywhere from 25 cents to 75 cents. This is ridiculous. This is something like food that doesn't get taxed on. In Utah, Salt Lake, Utah, there is an all-men's panel that voted to keep pink tax. The vote was 8-3. The tampon bill would save women the $30 in taxes a year. By the name of Bill Heiserman, a Utah Taxpayer Association, stated while it appears to cut taxes, it could actually do the opposite. Eliminating the tax might mean lawmakers would rise to overall tax rates, and the small savings for taxpayers would have a much higher effect on the state. According to estimates from legislative budget staff, it would reduce revenue to the general fund by over $1 million next year. When you think about it, $1 million truly isn't that much. So how much is a woman's life really worth? Well, we should figure that out soon enough. A Utah Women's Coalition member by the name of Stephanie Pitcher stated, feminine hygiene products should not be considered luxuries, but necessities like prescription drugs or food, which most U.S. states do not tax on. So, I bet almost all women, maybe even some men, would agree with her statement.
In New York City, they did a study that shows that women paid more in about 30 out of the 35 categories, which ranged from t-shirts to feminine products. And then, according to Karen Duffin, who's a reporter for NPR, claimed that in New York City's report on the pink tax, the women were paying for things like clothes and health products tended to be about 7 or 8% more than the price that men were paying for comparable products. I think that's kind of unfair because it shows that they obviously favor men over women when it comes to things that like are essential and not even like essential either, like just things that like they want. And then the Washington Post did a study on the price differences between blue and pink products. So they went to Walgreens and they showed that a blue box of Schick Hydro 5 cartridges was $14, maybe $15 plus tax, but the purple ones, just because they say Hydro Silk and because it's purple, they decided to be almost $20. So across New York, women's products carried higher price tags over 42% of the time, while men's products were only 18% of the time. So that shows that it's literally like almost 20% more to pay to be a woman than to pay for a man. Like when you go to Target, they did another study and it shows that men only pay like $25 for a t-shirt, while women have to pay almost $30. Like that's a $5 increase. Like that's not fair. And then like even Canes, like when you're older, like who would have thought that like men have to pay like $20 when women have to pay like $25? Like those are things that you need, but like yet you have to pay more just because you're a woman. And then I asked like the question of like how is price discrimination like efficient to economics, because NPR's like economists said that like price discrimination helps with like taxes. So Charlie Whelan said that if you're the seller, you want to take as much money out of their pockets as much as you can. So when you look at like tampons, you obviously see that you have to pay more because it's a necessity. So like you just have to do it. When you look at men, like they'd only pay less for condoms because I mean they maybe need it, but like it's not that big of a deal. And like you see that like body shampoo, like razors, and then you see like shaving creams, like women have to pay more even though like men do the same exact thing and they're paying less, which is not like very equal, but like economics think is a good idea because it gives them more money like in their pockets. So Charlie Whelan also said that during the presidential elections, Al Gore had claimed that he paid less for his dog's arthritis medicine than what his mother paid. Like that just shows that like economics like are so serious when it comes to like price discrimination that even a dog doesn't have to pay like as much for like medicine that women need to like help themselves and like benefit their health. This just doesn't matter to them. And then it often offends people with equality. Like obviously it's going to offend people with equality because like you're looking at like women as less of a person than what a man is. So obviously like, hey, let's charge a woman more just because they're less of a man. Like that's just not equal. Like we're obviously equal to a man, if not better. So like why not just pay equal? And then I asked like how much the average woman spends on pads and tampons, and this is just before taxes. So like annually women have to pay $49.90, so almost $50 for tampons, and then annually for pads they pay around $15 to $16. So like altogether if you bought like both of those products you would have to pay around $66, like, and that's per woman. Like that's not per household. Like that's like your mom, and then you would have to do like yourself, and then you'd have to do like your sister and like maybe your great aunt, but like you have to like, that's not even combined all together. And that's crazy to see that like men don't have to do that. Men just buy a box of condoms that last like a whole entire year. So that's just it's aggravating. So and then I looked at like what we're doing to like make it better, and I see that like Planned Parenthood gives out free tampons to like women who are low income and like can't afford it. And a lot of people kind of just like donate, and like companies will donate and sponsor like host events and stuff like that for tampons, and like we'll give them out to like low income families. But looking out of the country, so not even in America, Scotland had become the first country to give free sanitary products to women on low incomes, according to Katrina Webster, and that's in 2017. Like I don't even know like how much it's changed from like 2017 to 2019, but I'm assuming that like a lot of other countries have obviously noticed this like troubling matter and have obviously fixed it. And then I looked, in the French government commissioned a study to investigate whether the pink tax exists in France, and they said that they were doing this because they feel that like it's not equal and that women are well respected in other countries. So like they're obviously not going to make them pay as much money for tampons because it's a necessity. Like we can't handle what happens to our body. Like we can't handle like, hey, let's bleed for a whole entire week every single month for 12 months. Like we can't handle that. Like we can't like do that. Like we're not going to say, hey, let's flip a switch it off. Like we can't do that.
Feminine products are not a luxury. Help us in our fight to end the pink tax.